Joining me today is Chris Goulden, the Chief Financial Officer at Corero Network Security. Chris, welcome and good morning.
Morning, Giles. It's great to be here speaking with you today.
Chris, you recently published a half-year trading update. Could you just talk us through the highlights?
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, 2 weeks ago, we issued a trading update on our first half of 2026 results, including some of the financial highlights. We're particularly pleased with the results in the first half of 2026, building on the sales momentum that we generated through the second half of 2025. And just to kind of run over the kind of key highlights in there. So combining kind of last year's strong ARR growth with good bookings uptick in the first half of the year, bookings being up 14%. Revenue was actually up 42% in the 6-month period versus the same period in 2025. ARR continues to grow nicely year over year. That was up 12%. And we maintain a strong gross margin. Typically we've been running at about 90%. In the period, we're 93%. Again, this is the kind of software-led nature of our solution. And I guess maybe one of the most impressive statistics in there is EBITDA. We saw a $4 million improvement on EBITDA in the period from a $1.4 million loss in 2025 to a $2.6 million profit in 2026. Additionally, we had a notable contract win post-period end with a globally recognized tier 1 telco provider in the US, actually. Big name that most people would recognize. And this really is recognition and validation of the kind of go-to-market kind of refresh, and particularly the kind of product innovation strategy that Carl, our CEO, put in place. In 2025, we developed and we released 6 new products. And really, this kind of increased our competitiveness and kept us in tenders, particularly with these kind of larger customers who require a more diverse solution set. And, this recognition that we've now selling into the kind of tier 1 global community, these are the kind of largest, most complex, most discerning customers. So we're really pleased that, our solution has kind of been validated in this arena. And we hope this is the first of many in that region.
I can imagine. A good set of numbers there, but Corero's share price has been quite volatile post-trading update. Are you able to shed any light on the activity?
Yeah, I mean, in the morning after a trading update was released, we saw initial really positive response, and share price was up around 20% through morning trading. By the end of the day, that kind of fell back to a small gain. Sometimes this happens, right, as kind of people take profit through the day, but generally a good reaction on the day to the trading update. I mean, subsequent to the trading update, we have been made aware of a recent change in ownership and a kind of sell-off of that kind of the new owner's stake. And that's had a negative impact on the share price subsequently to the trading update.
Okay. Several investors have discussed the fact that a significant shareholder was recently targeted for activism and has been forced to sell their holding in Corero. As much as you can, are you able to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, the Saba strategy to take significant holdings in a number of UK funds has been well publicised. And one of our long-term holders, Herald, were one of those funds that Saba took that strategy on. As a consequence of that, Saba effectively acquired a significant holding in Corero. And they said, we don't believe that Saba's strategy is to hold individual positions in small caps, such as Corero.
Okay. Now, with increasing legislation around cyber resilience in the UK and globally, is that having an impact on your sales pipeline?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, cybersecurity and technical security as a general industry has had long-standing regulations, but this is really the first time that those regulations have had a direct impact on DDoS specifically. Within that, we're particularly looking at kind of resiliency type regulation and data sovereignty regulations. So in 2025, we announced that we won a contract with a major European bank off the back of the DORA Act in the EU, which was specifically around additional security and resiliency for financial services within the EU. And we're seeing also pipeline increase and opportunities from regulations such as the Cybersecurity and Resiliency Bill in the UK, and also the Telecom Security Act in the UK. We're definitely seeing customers coming to us now because they have a need for a more substantial solution to meet these regulations. So that, I mean, the way that Corero meets and helps these customers is primarily our on-prem solution. So it's maintaining the customer data on their network, in their location, and that helps them primarily to meet these data sovereignty and resiliency requirements.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense. Now, we previously discussed a growing threat landscape around cyber attacks, specifically DDoS. How do you think about that trend as we move towards the end of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. So we released our latest threat intelligence report at the start of the year, and we identified that DDoS and DDoS attacks and the DDoS landscape attacks are getting larger. They're also getting faster, and they're getting far more complex. This is largely due to new tools and new specialisms available to those bad actors who, rather than doing kind of one-off smaller attacks, can now combine attacks and can increase the efficacy of these attacks through really easy access tooling. And we're seeing this and we're hearing these examples and trends from our customers and partners and potential customers that we're speaking to in the market. Now, we recently announced that for the second year in a row, we were identified as the emerging innovator in the DDoS space by one of the leading industry analysts. And this is reflective of the fact that we are, yes, we believe and we've been recognized as the organization that is innovating in this space and really looking at new and more effective techniques to combat this evolving threat landscape. We believe that we're now best placed in the market to support customers through this ever-growing and ever-evolving cyber resiliency threat. And we're seeing that coming through in our pipeline. And we're seeing that in the customer satisfaction and the customer retention scores that we continue to see in our financial results.
Right. Great news. Okay. Talking to me today was Chris Goulden, the CFO at Corero Network Security. Chris, thanks for sharing your insights today.
Thanks for your time, Charles.